So like some of you know, every January I learn a new skill. It's just one of those things that I like to do to start the new year. So this year I asked you guys what you wanted to learn, and a lot of you said you wanted to learn how to knit. So today I'm going to show you how to knit a scarf using the moss stitch. Now there's different types of moss stitch. British moss stitch is what we consider seed stitch. What we're going to be doing today is an American/Irish moss stitch. It's a great beginner pattern to learn. It's not too complicated, it's beautiful, and it's the same on both sides. The other thing is it lays flat, which is really, really great. First thing you need to do before you knit is get comfy. I'm talking comfy clothes, stretchy pants, get in your bed or snuggle up on your couch, because knitting is relaxing and you deserve to be in a relaxing space before you knit. You're gonna need 2 skeins of yarn, a pair of size 15, so US 15 knitting needles. You're gonna need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. Now I've linked everything that I'm using in the description below. First thing I do before I knit, you're actually gonna wanna ball this up. It's gonna make your life a whole lot easier. Now if you buy this at a local yarn store, a lot of times they'll wind this up for you. I had to order mine. I don't have a yarn store anywhere near me. It's super simple to do though. Just grab the end and just wrap it. I do 2 fingers. I wrap it around until I get a nice little bit. Take my fingers out and then just start balling it up. Work it around. It just makes it so much easier when you're trying to knit instead of trying to fight this giant thing. So you go from this to this. It's not necessary, but it does make it a whole lot easier on you. First thing that we need to do is we need to create a slip knot. So I'm gonna start by taking about an arm's length of yarn, and I'm gonna take this and I'm going to, this is the tail, I'm going to twist this, come down and pinch this and pull it up. Slip knot. Let me do it one more time. Here's the tail end of mine. Here's my loop. I'm going to cross it like this, come towards myself, pull this one back up, slip knot. I'm going to take that and I'm going to attach it to my needle and tighten it up. So when I cast on, this is actually the end of mine. So this is the tail of my yarn. What I'm going to do is with my needle pointing to the left, okay? I'm going to take my pointer finger and my thumb and I'm going to come between this and I'm going to grab the rest of this with these 3 fingers, okay? So I've got my fingers spread out like this. I'm going to pull that yarn down so that it looks like this, okay? And what all I'm going to do is I'm going to go under, over, and pull it through, okay? I know, it's so confusing. So with my fingers like this, I'm going to go under my thumb, cross over to my pointer finger and get that first little one, go under that one, come back through my thumb, and pull. Okay. Under, through. Get it again. Under that thumb, under the pointer finger, back through that thumb and through. We're going to make sure that we cast on an even number. So it does not matter if you go the full length of this needle or if you want to just do what I'm doing, 19, 20. I did 20, and this is what it should look like. Hey, this is Future Molly. Just coming to let you know, if you actually want to finish this quickly, don't cast on 20 stitches. Just do like 12 or 14, because this is, it's beautiful, but it's taken me a minute, like a lot of minutes. So I'm going to show you the 2 basic stitches that you need to know how to do. Now I am right-handed, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to put my needle in my left hand, all right? And so my yarn is going to be over here on my right side. So here's how you knit. All right, so keep in mind I am right-handed. So with the knitting needle in my left hand with all of my stitches and an empty needle on my right hand, in order to knit, I'm going to keep the yarn to the back and I'm just going to take this needle and slide it underneath. So this is what it looks like. Slide it underneath this one. Bring this yarn. Make sure that you are not using the tail of the yarn that we use to cast on, okay? Keep that one off to the side. Take this yarn that's connected to the ball, and we're going to go over it. We're going to hold this, and we're going to pull this back through, keeping that tip right on the edge of that needle so that it comes underneath. And so we're going to pull that through, and we're going to come up and slide this one off like so. So now with this pattern, we're going to alternate. So we're going to take our yarn and bring it to the front. Now to purl, instead of going through the yarn and going back this way, we're going to come under the yarn to the front. Still keeping that needle real close to the other one so that you don't break apart your yarn. Put this through. Now we're going to wrap around the back and come to the front. Pull that nice and snug. And keep that real close to the edge. We're going to come back through, and then we're going to pull that one off. Okay? Bring the yarn to the back. Now it's time to knit. Wrap around. Slide that one off. Bring that to the front. We're going to go under, because remember, we're going to the front for the purl. Go under. Wrap around the back. Pull through, keep that real tight. Go along that edge. And push that off. There we go. We're just going to continue this going all the way across. Sometimes you'll hear people say, you're going to stab it, strangle it, and throw it off a cliff. Very morbid, but it works. Okay, last two. We're going to knit. Oops. And pull this to the front and purl. All right, one row done. Time to turn it over and start again. I'm getting comfy now. Gotta lean back. We're on row 2. Row 2 is going to be repeated the same as we just did. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, all the way across. I'm just going to make sure that that yarn is in the back. And I'm just going to slide this through, wrap it around, pull it through, and then pull it off. Move that yarn to the front. That's going to be the hardest thing when you're first starting out, is to remember to move the yarn. That's where it gets to be the most confusing. The other thing that can be kind of difficult is when you start to lose your place. If you're just starting out in this, I highly recommend going slow. Okay? Don't rush. Don't think, oh, I should be this pro. I am not a pro. I have been knitting for years, and I'm still not a pro. I think it's because I'm a seasonal knitter, so I feel like I almost have to kind of relearn everything each year. But I am not a pro. But I love it. It's already starting to look so pretty. I love this stitch. All right, so we're on row 3. Now we're going to alternate. So we did rows 1 and 2, knit, purl, repeating. Now we're on row 3, which means we need to purl first, then knit. All right, so we're going to do this for 2 rows. Row 3 and 4 are both purl, then knit. So remember, when you purl, that yarn needs to be in the front. All right, I'm about to start the 4th row. So 4th row is going to be the same thing as the 3rd row. So we're going to start with purl and knit, and we're going to go to knit, and we're just going to keep alternating all the way across. Okay, so I've finished the 4 rows. Now you're just going to start over again. We're going to go back to what we did in row 1. So we're going to be repeating rows 1 through 4 over and over again until you get the length of the scarf that you want. Now, I'm going to show you guys what you're going to need to do to continue, because one skein of this yarn is not going to be enough for a nice luxurious scarf. I'm going to show you how to connect these two to continue up And I'm gonna show you how to finish off your scarf so you have the perfect warm scarf for the winter. Look how gorgeous that stitch is. It's so pretty. Same bed, different day, same project, just continuing to truck along. And I am keeping up with my stitches, so if you guys, hold on, I'll show you. This right here, this is 48 rows of stitches. So just to keep in mind when you're trying to do a scarf, I mean, this isn't very long. So I need to keep going. But I have a whole other skein. Sadly, I'm not an octopus or I could really knock this out. Back to it. Knit and purl and knit and purl. Tell you what, when you're working with this fatter yarn and these bigger needles, this becomes kind of a workout. Like the little ones, you barely have to move your hands. This stuff, it's like my shoulders are cramping up, my neck, I need a massage. It's gonna be worth it. It's funny, the simpler the pattern, the harder it is for me to keep up with where I am. I think because on the ones that are more difficult, like I'm really counting and paying attention. And with this one, it's like, oh, you just alternate, going across. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what row am I on? What stitch am I on? What am I doing? What day is this? Yeah, my mind tends to wander with these easier patterns. Time to add some more yarn. So all I'm gonna do is pull this apart just a little bit. Like this. And then I'm gonna take this next little skein of yarn and I'm going to fan this one out. Just a little bit. And so that these are a similar width, I'm actually gonna cut out the little center section of this one. And I'm gonna cut out the little center section of this one. And now I'm gonna take these two pieces and I'm gonna join them together. So I've got just literally like I have a cap full of water and I'm just dipping these two ends into that. And then I'm going to just put these two ends together like this. And I'm going to just twist them around so that they become one thing. And it's basically like felting this. So then I'm gonna take my hands, rub this together, and now I've connected them. So now I can continue knitting. Now where I've connected that, I mean, like it's strong. So you're good. You are good to continue. I've gone pretty far with this one. What did I just end on though? Y'all, I'm the worst. I keep forgetting where I ended. I'm the worst. Like my brain gets spacey. Oh wait, hold on. That's a knit. So I was on row 2. Yes. I was on row 2. No. I was on row 1. Thank goodness this is very forgiving. So like if you do accidentally mess up a little bit, you can't even tell. Like you could honestly go through here and you might be able to tell a couple of places that I've messed up, but when it's wrapped around my neck, you're not gonna be able to tell a thing. So show yourself a little grace. If you mess up on some things, who cares? In the end, it's a warm scarf and it's gonna look pretty. So don't worry about it being perfect. Gosh, because if I worried about everything being perfect, well, I wouldn't make anything. I don't do much perfect, but that's okay. I am perfectly imperfect. All right, back to knitting. We're not quite there yet. I need some extra length on my scarf. But I'm getting tired of knitting, y'all. Like, knitting is a joyful thing, but when life gets in the way and you have a deadline and you really need to knit a complete scarf for all of your friends to see, it doesn't become quite so joyful. But that's okay. I'm gonna do this for y'all because I love y'all. And then next time I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time to get this project finished. It takes a while, a long while. Oh, it feels so good. Y'all, this yarn is the best. All right, back to it. I unfortunately have run out of time. This is as long as my scarf is going to get. It's totally fine. Actually, I could probably get a nice little brooch and pin it here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to bind off on this so that you can finish your scarf, and just know that you can make this scarf as long as you want it. So you see this edge right here, this is where we started. I'm gonna do this exact same look just on the other end where we have this connected. And it's super, super simple to bind off. All you're going to do is you're going to knit one, knit two, and then we're going to take this needle right here and we're going to go back through that very first knit that we did, and we're going to very carefully pull it over that second one, and we're going to drop it off. Okay, now we're going to knit one, go back through this one and get it carefully and pull that off. Okay, and we're just going to keep going across, same thing. Okay, final step, we've got last loop here and here. All we're going to do is knit like we've been doing all the other ones. We're going to knit this one, and then again, like the other ones, we're going to grab that last little loop, pull that over. Okay, so now we only have one little loop left, and this is the string that's attached to our ball of yarn. We're going to cut this off, put this needle down. All we're going to do is take this last little bit of yarn and we're going to put that over the needle. And then, just like we've been doing before, we're going to take this last little loop and we're going to put it over that yarn, and you're going to pull that yarn through, remove your needle, and pull that tight. And then that is solid. So now all we have to do with these loose pieces is trim them up and weave them back into your piece. All right, so this is why we needed the tapestry needle. We're just going to thread that needle and then take our scarf, and we're just going to weave this through, work this back through our scarf, kind of through those little knots, and when you pull it, it's going to come through like this. And then what you can do, I'm actually going to go back the opposite direction, come down to a different stitch, come back through the opposite way to just secure this. Really all that we're doing is tucking this yarn to hide it so that nobody can see it. And then we're just going to trim it. Now that's nice and secure, and you'd never know that it was there. All right, we're going to do the other side now. And now come back the other direction, just so we make sure that it's not ever going to come loose. We'll trim that. And there you have it. The softest scarf you'll ever own. Now mine's a little shorty because, well, I ran out of time, but how cute is she? I love her so much. You guys can make yours as long as you want. Actually, the 2 skeins that I told you to get, that's going to be more than enough yarn to make a super long, luxurious scarf if you want. If you don't want it to take quite as long, just make sure that you don't cast quite as many stitches as I did. I did 20. You easily could have done 12 to 14 with this one. But y'all, it's so soft and so wonderful. I hope y'all had fun. I hope you learned something. And I have new projects coming up every single week in January. So next week is going to be needle felted heart garland. So I hope you guys will join me. Guys, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload a video. This I love it. Don't forget, you guys need to go and have yourself a little me time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.